Hello children, this is a module about the poem written by Robert Frost, Fire and Ice. It is a poem in the book First Flight, prescribed for CBSE Class 10 NCERT. Robert Frost was born on March 26, 1874, and he was one of the most celebrated poets in America. He was an author of searching and often dark meditations on universal themes. This means that he has written about very deep thoughts of human life. That is why he became a well-known and often quoted poet. He was highly honored during his presence on earth, and even now his poems are such that we cannot forget. You all must have read Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening and The Road Not Taken. So let's proceed. This poem also has a very deep thought, provided we understand that. What kind of questions can be asked from this topic, from this poem is, I have created an acronym for you to remember what kind of questions can be asked. So F stands for fire or desire, I, ice or hatred, R for responsibility. What is our responsibility of behavior? This is what the poet wants us to understand. And E, end of the world. So this is what any question might be tested. It will be revolving around one of these options. So we will be proceeding now to know what is the meaning of fire and what is the meaning of ice in this poem. Children, in this slide there are some words that are flashed. I'll quickly give you the meaning of these words. What you have to do is, side by side, start thinking about the quality of these words. These are basically feeling words. So there may be some feeling words which would require a lot of high temper, and some of them would require definitely high temper, but it would require the coldness of heart, lack of feelings for somebody. There are two cases of all human feelings. Either we have very strong feeling for somebody, height of feeling, or we have no feelings at all for somebody. So both these things, if there's height of feeling, that gives rise to body temperature, you can say. It gives rise to agony, it gives rise to a fire like feeling. Or if there is no feeling for anybody, you become cold hearted, you become you lose your feelings, and there's no temper, there's no feeling in you. Your heart becomes still and cold, and that relates to ice kind of thing. You have to categorize these into two parts. One is insensitivity, when you are not sensitive. Greed is lalach, demand for more, not being satisfied. Rigidity is when you are very rigid, when you are very adamant, you don't want to change your thought. Intolerance is when you cannot tolerate somebody in front of you. Avarice is high form of greed, that is greed along with, you can go to extent of harming anyone. Indifference is when you do not bother about anybody. Your mind is indifferent, it doesn't show any difference of thought whatever may happen to the other person. Lust is deep demand for something, and in that demand you can go to any cruel limits, you can go to any harmful limits. Either you can harm anybody around you. Fury is height of anger. Cruelty is when you are cruel. Coldness is a feeling in the heart where there is no feeling actually. Your heart is cold and still, it doesn't empathize with anybody. Conflict is when you are at loggerheads with somebody, you are conflicting. Think about these, pause the video here and categorize them into two. Either it would be fire kind of thing, or it would be ice kind of thing. For example, coldness would come in ice. I proceed. I have made all the all the feelings which can be categorized into coldness into in blue color. You can see insensitive, lack of feelings; coldness, rigidity, lack of feelings; intolerance, lack of feelings; indifference, coldness, and cruelty. These are all in one category. This is ice. So these are all those feelings which can ruin somebody's life, or they can ruin earth, or they can ruin entire humanity. And what is the basic root thing in them? The root thing is that we are lacking in our feelings, we are lacking in our empathy with somebody, we do not understand what the other person's problem is. So this harshness of heart is very destructive. In the same way, the other category is greed, avarice, lust, fury, and conflict. In all these things, what common thing is there is that you are self-centered, you are demanding something, and you, in this demand, in this lust, in this desire, you forget that the other person, you forget the benefit of the other person. You become self-centered, and you might be angry because you want to prove that you are right, and it's your world, it's your way. When this happens, then all these qualities, they are bending on desire, and I have categorized them into the red color, which indicates fire. So I am again categorizing them. Desire is it further leads to greed, desires lead to avarice, lust, conflict, and fury. Hatred leads to cruelty, intolerance, rigidity, insensitivity, coldness, and indifference. So, what keywords we'll be using is desire and hatred, and desire will be symbolized by fire in this chapter, in this poem, and hatred will be symbolized by ice. Ice refers to coldness. So, now I'm going to take the poem further. This is the poem. Some say the world will end in fire. Now there's a Christian mythology which says that one day or the other, entire world is going to end. And that day is known as Judgment Day or the Doomsday. And it is said that once this day, Doomsday comes, after that Judgment Day will come. Doomsday means ending. On the day of judgment, it will be the next day after Doomsday. All the people who have already died, who are in their graves, they will come out, and there will be a declaration, there will be a decision about whether they should be put into hell or into heaven. Before that, the common and constant point of concern for the world is how the world is going to end. Definitely the world is going to end, but how is that end going to be brought upon? To this question, Robert Frost has given us two answers. One answer is fire, the other answer is ice. So I begin again. Some say the world will end in fire. So there are some people who favor that world is going to end in fire. It may be physical fire. The symbolic form of fire is all those feelings, all those destructive feelings. I have given them desire or destructive elements caused by emotions of desire, like greed, avarice, lust, conflict, or fury. He says if these things are prevalent and they continue to remain prevalent in humans, they are going to bring the entire world to an end one day. So these are those people who favor that world is going to be ended by these feelings of destruction. The other people say that it is going to end in ice. These people favor that people have amongst themselves the feelings of hatred, and such are the destructive elements of hatred. These can be cruelty, intolerance, rigidity, insensitivity, coldness, or indifference. So these people say that the world is going to end in ice due to hatred. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. He says even I have seen that desire is very destructive, and because that is experience of my own life, this is being said by a poet. He says I too agree that world will come to an end by the means of fire. But if it had to perish twice, he continues to give us this statement. Now, as such, it is not possible for a thing which is destroyed to destroy again. Destruction means complete end. But it seems true that this world is so great, it might not be sufficient for one thing to eliminate it or to destroy it properly. So possibly it would require one more chance to perish properly. This kind of statement, which logically isn't true, but it seems that it is possible somewhere, it is called a paradox. So, but if it had to perish twice, in case, I think I know enough of hate. He says I have experienced enough of hate in my life, and if there is something that is left on earth, hatred would be enough to destroy it. To say that for destruction, ice is also great. So he says even I would like to put this forth that if we talk about destruction, ice is also a very, very great idea, is a great enough a power, and it would be sufficient. It would be sufficient to bring end to this world. So this is Robert Frost's view that world has to end all. Either it is going to end in fire, and if fire is not sufficient, ice will definitely finish it. So that was the poem. I'll be taking poetic devices quickly. Alliteration, repetition of same sound in the beginning of a word. Some say favor fire. Enjambment is when we read a poem and we see that we have 32 lines to make complete sense of the idea of. It seems that one sentence completes when you are reading more than one line. So yeah, from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. The thought gets completed when full stop comes at the end of the second line. So when one line continues to the next line without the use of any punctuation marks, and the meaning extends to the end of the second line, we say enjambment is used. So it is extensively used here. Symbolism is one object is taken as symbol of something else. Fire symbolizes desire. Desire further symbolizes various other feelings, and all these feelings are going to be responsible for the end of the world. He doesn't talk about fire physically. In the same way, ice, he doesn't talk about coming of ice age physically, but he talks about the destructive elements caused by the emotions of hatred. Hatred symbolizes cruelty, intolerance, and all such feelings. Then contrast. The poem has a beautiful contrast of use of the words, or you can say symbols, of fire and ice. One side we can imagine that the world is getting destroyed by fire, and the other side we imagine it is getting destroyed by the symbol of ice. These contrasting symbols, they have a common purpose of action, which is destruction of the world. So it's a beautiful use of contrasting symbols done by the poet to bring about his idea very clearly. Then paradox, I have explained you, a statement that is logical but it seems untrue. So if you read, yes, it is possible, but it cannot happen. This kind of a statement is called paradox. Imagery, when you can visualize the burning or stiffening effect of fire as well as ice happening in the poem, we say visual imagery has been used. When we read the poem, we talk about fire and the destruction that it can cause. That is use of imagery. A quick discussion about the entire poem shows that how poet is so worried about the destruction of the world that is going to happen. This is a very short poem and it throws light upon perpetual query of humans about the end of the world. It's a very common point of discussion by the humans, and we might not have noticed it, but in Christianity it is an everyday discussion. And because it is an everyday discussion about doomsday or judgment day, they talk about how that is going to happen. For example, now we have coronavirus here, there's lockdown going somewhere in the world, rather many places in the world. People are discussing that possibly God is bent upon to punish us, and you never know, you never know that if the world might end. So anyways, the poet talks about what are going to be these means to bring about the end to the world. The word fire stands for desire, and in this poem it indicates all types of greed and lust. In today's world, mankind's greed is endangering the very existence of the planet Earth. The word ice in the poem indicates hatred and indifference, which is as cold as ice. Ice symbolizes hatred, and hate is just as powerful as desire. While desire consumes quickly, hate can occur and linger in people's minds and hearts for years and years, and sometimes even lifetimes. Hate consumes the hater, perhaps even more than the person or the group hated, and it can ruin lives. Hate can thus be very destructive and sufficient to bring discussion. So this is how he justifies the action of fire and hate. The poet provides and deals with two possible causes for the end of the world. Every human action is based on either love for someone or hatred against someone else. You can think about any feeling that we can talk about. Either it will be based on love for somebody, desire for somebody, or hatred for somebody. You can try any action, anything that we do, it will fall into either category. For him, fire denotes deep passion and burning desire, and ice is highlighted for its cold-hearted and hatred side of emotions. He favors both the arguments and says that either the deep burning passion or the cold hatred and jealousy factor will push the people to walk on the path of destruction. In case fire fails, ice will end the world. The love that people have for one another might turn into hatred one day. In the race of climbing up and out to do one another, people will tend to hate each other, and these negative emotions will become so strong that it will surpass all the love and lead to the destruction of humanity. So this is what you can say, what is preferred. I've given this content, you can memorize it and put it directly in your papers. It is well written. Now the point is, what does the poet want us to remember? What is his message written in the poem? The poet intends to remind humanity that we are smitten so much with love as well as hatred that these two are sufficient to bring an end to the world. Our own feelings are sufficient. We do not need any natural disaster to happen. He indicates that our actions need to be based on responsibility and duty, not just emotions. We need to understand that it is desire that further leads to evil vices like lust, passion, being possessive, overprotective, jealousy, hatred, greed, anger, or fury. Similarly, this intense hatred leads to evil vices like cruelty, indifference, intolerance, rigidity, and being adamant, etc. We can make this world much better and peaceful if we do not get ruled by these emotions and be responsible for our thoughts as well as actions. Well, that was all from my side. This was a very short and interesting poem, Fire and Ice. You need any other help, please contact me on the given details. Thank you and have a nice day.